Hi, today we are going to show you what it looks like to be in a science program in Collège La Flèche. First of all, the program is divided in two profiles, pure science and health science. We are all in our third year of health sciences.
First, let's talk about the classes. There are two classes of biology, four courses of chemistry, three of physics, and three of math.
First, let's talk about biology. The first class we had was about cells and genetics. We learned about DNA, structure of the cells, bacteria, virus, and some disease. Here in the lab, we've made many experiences such as seeing how many bacteria are on our body and in our environment. We saw bacteria grow, which we found in our mouth, ears, feet, on the toilet, doorknob, floor, and cell phone. The second class we have now is more about human anatomy. We will see what we are made of. We start from the tissues that compounds the organs, which are in different systems, to finally have an entire organism. We are very excited for the activity we will do after the spring break. We are going to the university here in Trois-Rivières to see their anatomy lab. It's a great opportunity for us. We will be able to see corpses and parts of the human anatomy. Now let's talk about chemistry. In our first class of chemistry, we start with all the basics we saw in high school to make sure everyone was on the same page.
This class was one of our first college class, so it was really slow-paced. We had to learn the periodic table by heart and how to do simple equations. In our laboratory, we started by learning how to use the material and then mixing some molecules together.
In the second chemistry class, it was about making the difference between many solutions. We learned about a solvent and a solver. We saw many reactions after mixing two things together such as heat, color changing, light, fusion, and the solidification of substances. Our last chemistry class was split in two, so we had the class for a full year last year. Organic chemistry is only about three elements such as
carbon, oxygen, hydrogen.
we learned how the molecules were formed and what they look like. We had to recognize and name each one of the molecules, which was not easy. We also got to understand how protein, lipids, and carbohydrates react with each other. Now we're going to talk about physics. The first class of physics was about mechanics, so the science of motion. We've seen how forces act on us and on different objects. Many things we experiment in our everyday lives has been explicated by this course. Like gravity, just walking can be all explained by that course. The teacher was keeping us entertained by explaining many concepts with pogo boxes. That show how invested and cool are the teacher in the science. The second one was also the tougher one. It was on electricity. You may think that it's all about circuit and big lightning, but it wasn't really that, unfortunately. It was on electron, proton, and how they act with each other. We also learned about the difference between magnetism and electricity. We are proud to have survived to this class, even if we had to sacrifice way too many hours of sleep. Also, in all of our physics class, we had to do a science project including the 3D printer. We are now doing our last class of physics on waves and modern physics. This one is supposed to be easier than the first two, but it's still physics, so it will probably not be easy. The class will be about sound, mirrors, and lenses. It probably won't be our favorite class, but it won't be our worst neither. We are all excited for our session to be over so we can start in our own study field. It's time to talk about maths. The first class of math was differential calculus. This class was only about one thing: calculate the slope of the tangent. We had to do a lot of exercise to be able to understand what is going on in the class. Taking a little delay may be fatal for your qatar, which many people of science take it way too seriously. The second class of math, integral calculus, was to make sure you understood the first one. Basically, you needed to do the opposite of the first class. We had to calculate the area under the curve. If you don't know what this means, don't worry, I think nobody does. In short, it's just a bunch of mathematical equations you need to resolve. The last class of math was linear algebra. It was by far the easiest one. We had to do matrix all the session. We also worked with imaginary numbers, which are less exciting than unicorn. We also studied line and plans in 3 dimensions.
You are now more aware of what the L program looks like. You may wonder why we are still in it after 5 sessions. It's not because we all failed the class, but because we are in sport or music program. Since 2017, we are supposed to only have classes in the morning except for the 3 courses like this one. This schedule allows us time to do our activities and perform in it. As for me, Gabrielle, I am playing piano at the Conservatoire of Music.
As of me, Leah, I am doing cheerleading. I'm a bass and I won 2 times the world championship. Because my team is in Montreal, I am driving a lot and had to have my afternoons off to get to practice on time. Sport Etudes was the only program that could offer me this particular schedule, especially when sometimes, when the roads get dangerous, I stay in Montreal so I don't have to drive in the snowstorm. As for me, Leanne, I'm doing spring kayak. Every winter semester, I went to a training camp in Florida for about 6 or 7 weeks. The science program and its teacher really helped me to stay up to date while I was gone. Some of them also took their own free time to teach me some of the matter I was going to miss while I was gone. Hi, Marianne. I'm doing taekwondo. Being in sport etudes helped me to train every day. I don't have to worry about dealing with the 2 activities. I know that I have the time to do both in one day. Also, I often go to competition outside Quebec. During these trips, I don't have to worry too much about school. The teachers are really comprehensive. If I'm missing an exam, by example, they are letting me time to prepare and I can do the exam when I'm ready. So in competition, I can really concentrate on the fight that I do. I'm happy to be a student athlete because most athletes I know in Taekwondo doesn't have the ability to deal with both, so they are not going to school. I have another challenge to overcome compared to them, but being in this program here in Collège La Flèche helps me to succeed in school and in my sport. That's it, guys. Thank you for listening. We wish you learn a little bit more about our program.